As our relationship developed, I could start to see your character reflected in small ways. Your long-lasting friendships with high school buddies and college roommates told me that you valued relationships. Your dedication to your work and your talents told me that you were a real go-getter. And your impeccably timed humor reinforced that you didn't take life too seriously. Hardly ever. Your energy was magnetic. In slowly opening up to me, you showed me the kind of partner you'd be, a good-hearted, sweet, and humble one. You are patient and thoughtful. You're kind to your core. You've given me encouragement when I felt defeat, happiness when I was flooded with stress, and excitement in times of celebration. You continue to be a beacon of light, a safe house where you repeatedly motivate me to be a better person. I fell in love with a 25-year-old chemical engineer turned VP of operations. A 26-year-old entrepreneur. I fell in love with a 27-year-old programmer, a 28-year-old Cincinnatian, and now my favorite, my 29-year-old husband. You continue to impress and amaze me in ways that other people don't get to see, and now as your wife, I get to witness them lifelong. I just look forward to continually falling in love with each new version of yourself. I love you, Ashley Schwartz.
Ashley Schwartz, A Schwar, Baby Squid, Boo Boo Squish. I love you. Even though we can't be with everyone that we originally intended, I'm so happy to be here with you and our parents and Ben. Like I said at the very beginning of our engagement, I would literally get married to you next to a dumpster, and I was by one for 20 minutes. With all the hoops our wedding plans have jumped through, I'm glad that this group of us is still able to be here. Both of our parents are such important role models to both of us, what we aspire to be going forward. I'm so glad you guys are here at the beginning. Mom, Dad, new mom, new dad, thank you for everything you've given and taught me. All I hope for is the blessing from God to grow a loving family and to remember to use the countless lessons you've taught me as role models. Recreating anything close to what the four of you have given us will be a dream come true. But back to you, Boo Boo Squish. Look at you wearing a wedding dress. I am so lucky to have ever shared a grilled cheese and Mr. Freeze with you a little over 4 years ago. You are the happiness of my day, Ashley Schwartz. I can come home and be in a pumped up mood and be ready to jam out to Wolfpack, and you'll be ready to jump in and dance with me. Or I can come home tired and worn out, and you're there ready to veg out with crackers and dip or walk around Washington Park to cheer me up. And even if it's just an average day, we can go to bed and get into giggle fits like children before every night saying night love. You are also my secret reservoir of confidence. I've never told you this, but back when I would get nervous about going into a meeting that I didn't feel I was ready for, or when I went on stage to present for Uptick, or even get up to do improv, I would say to myself, Ashley loves me, to calm myself down. Because no matter what I do, I know that you will still be there for me. And if I truly do tell a really bad joke, I know you'll still be there for me. Maybe not with laughter, but with that staring glare that I love so much. I truly cannot overstate the peace and calm you are to me in those moments, knowing that you are with me no matter what. You have given me the power to jump out of planes and travel the world with you. But also you are weird, and I love it. I am so glad that I was able to pass your weird enough test after our first date, but you're pretty friggin' weird too. Whether it's 5 degrees or 55 degrees, you will label the weather as Chile while fake chattering your teeth. Your double pillow casing techniques are so confusing that I can't explain them in text. I think if she learned that from Sharon. And your aversion to perfectly flattened, smooth out foods will always baffle me, but I love it. You are really one of a kind. I look forward to hearing you sing in a deep man's opera voice to our favorite songs for the rest of my life. And finally, you are passionate. I love the way you talk about your family. You guys are all over the world, and you still seem to have just as close a relationship as if you lived next door. I love the way you talk about your friends. If they seem to be having a rough couple weeks or even just a bad day, you are quick to jump on the phone and get your friends together to rally around them and see them in person. I love the way you talk about your job. Never once have you complained about the actual ins and outs of what you do, only ever the things that get in the way of you helping children. And you're brave enough to give being a curriculum manager a shot and potentially now affect the lives of thousands of kiddos. You help me stay passionate, and your tenacity to not be settled with your job helped talk me through quitting my first ever job and becoming much happier, even though it would mean moving 3 hours away. Thank you for that. In summation, Babishka, here are my vows. I vow to always be there for you, ready with dip and crackers when you're having a bad day, and also there to cheer you up, cheer you on when you're having a great day. I vow to be your sounding board and your supportive confidence so that you're able to take chances and know that you can fail and I'll still be there for you. I vow to push myself to be weirder than you at any cost. And I vow to be passionate about the things that you're passionate about. Your friends, your family, and career are just as important to me as they are to you. And finally, I vow to be able to change with you as we grow old together. One of my biggest fears that we talked about when we first discussed marriage was, what if one of us changes? And while no one can promise that they won't change, I can promise to change with you. We will undoubtedly be much different people in the coming decades, but I look forward to the people we will change into and get to be with you along the way.
Eric and Ashley, for as much as you both have declared your desire to be united in marriage, in the presence of these witnesses and in the presence of God, by the power vested in me, and by the virtue of God's sacred authority, I now pronounce you husband and wife. What God joined together, let no one separate. Eric, you may kiss your bride. For the first time, I would like to announce the future, or now the present, Mr. and Mrs. Eric Holmes.
As you walk down.
Ashley has always been a source of joy in my life. She has always been a quiet kind of fearless. She's always had a way of provoking that same nature in others. She has always empowered me to be brave, and I have never been the brave one in our trio of friends. Her friendship has always been a source of strength for me, and I know Chrissy would say the same. Knowing she would always have my back gave me the confidence to be myself. And I hope you all have a friend like Ashley in your corner, and if you do, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Eric, Ashley adores you. She speaks highly of you all the time. She has shared countless times with me that you have been a cheerleader for her and gotten her to try something new, whether it was moving across the state, which I'm maybe still a little salty about, but I'll get over it, or the skydiving proposal. And I am so glad to know that she has you in her corner now. So now I'm going to read some words on behalf of Chrissy. So these are all quotes from her. So if you don't like it, you can make a phone call to her, and it's not on me. Ashley, I hope you know I've imagined giving a speech at your wedding my whole life, and I wish I could be there with you today. First, I hope you both take a moment to look around the room and take note of each face that you see. Slow down time for just a moment and look at everyone. These are all of the people who you love the most in one room at the same time. A lot of them probably know each other, but some of them don't. And they are all here for the same reason. Your love story has brought them together, at least for tonight, to celebrate together. You will probably never have everyone you love in one place at one time ever again, so savor this moment. It is so special. I do want to share a little bit of advice that I received when I was getting married because it's the only advice that I actually remember. The 3 rings of marriage. Number 1, the engagement ring. Number 2, the wedding ring. And number 3, the suffering. So I welcome both of you to the suffering. Everyone who is married, I hope, chuckle. But the truth is the word suffer at its roots actually means to endure. And only recently has become associated with enduring negative things. I truly hope that your marriage suffers in the sense that it always endures. Life will offer you circumstances of all kinds, whether good or bad. I know you two will endure life's beautiful challenges together, one that inspires all of those around you, and I hope that you learn to love a little deeper. I hope we can all raise a glass and toast to the not-so-new Mr. and Mrs. Holmes.
Ashley Holmes, I love you. We celebrating our marriage right now?
Woo!
It seems like just 20 years ago that we got engaged and started planning this. It is crazy for me to think that when we got engaged and started all this, you were still living at your East Sullivan house. That seems like so long ago, but we are finally here. We made it. You are such a source of joy in my life. There is such a childlike happiness and weirdness that comes out of you sometimes that I have yet to get tired of. Whether it is you running around the house like a wild animal and falling flat on your butt, or you wanting me to lift you up by your hips as you walk up the stairs, or flying into bed at night and doing a spinning dive as you land, I will never grow tired of your quirks. I think it says a lot about us that we can travel together for 30+ hours and still laugh like little kids in an airport terminal after finding out we've been delayed an extra 5. And then at a dime, you can also switch and be extremely passionate and caring. I love that you are so focused and driven to make children's lives better. I do tend to get a little lost in the educational jargon and all the teacher celebrity names that you know and follow, but I do love listening to you talk about it and nod along, enjoying your enthusiasm. I love watching you grow and finally find a job that fits you so well, and I'm excited to see where it takes you and spread that passion further. Having you by my side is such a blessing. I said this a year ago, but it's just important that I have to repeat it. You are my secret source of confidence, to continue to push myself out of my comfort zone and grow and try new things. You are a bedrock of support to me that I can always rely on whenever I'm nervous or anxious about the future. When we were waiting in the emergency room to have my appendix surgery, I remember you telling me something along the lines of, "I can't believe how relaxed you are right now. But it's easy for me to be calm because of you. You often tell me that I am the calm one of the relationship, but all I think is that no matter what happens, I'll still have you and that'll be okay." This is the last time that I'm going to marry you, but it's been the best decision of my life. Thank you for being yourself with me and allowing me to be 100% myself with you.
Eric, we made it. 385 days of being husband and wife, and we are killing it. Being married to you has been a whirlwind of adventures, each moment having a very distinct feel and sound, smell, taste, and look. Being married to you feels like the extreme highs and lows of buying our first home in the midst of a pandemic. It feels like river walks along the Little Miami River during the peak heat of Cincinnati summers, and like an evening stroll around Washington Park. Being married to you sounds like the hum of traffic downtown, the coo of morning birds in the suburbs, and the strobe-like pulsations of cicadas. It sounds like Monday night ooze bear jams and Wednesday morning preschool read-alouds. It sounds like your keys rustling to unlock the door, the tapping on your keyboard while you program late into the night, and the sound of the Hamilton soundtrack blaring during meal prep. Being married to you smells like the Sam Adams Brewery, our homemade French toast, and Korean bulgogi. It smells like bad morning breath and layers of Sunbum sunscreen. Being married to you tastes like our deep dish pizza recipe, which took months to perfect, and Vietnamese street tacos at Findlay Market. It tastes like Grader's double chocolate brownie ice cream, African ugali, and our homemade granola bars. Marriage to you looks like paper ornaments made for an apartment-sized Christmas tree, hot air balloons over Tanzania, and sticky notes hidden around the house. It looks like piles of laundry that sit right next to the laundry basket, dishes left on the windowsill, and a simple text that says I love you for no reason. Eric, marrying you made my life rich in joy and excitement, in compromise, and in love. You make me feel more and want less. I've never felt more loved, appreciated, or cared for. You're curious, you're calculated, and you're sincere. You're a man that is modest, meticulous, and measured. Your presence gives me peace, like the predictable pulse of a steady drumbeat. Your demeanor is calming, but never squanders my childlike excitement to want to do more, see more. And even when I wanted to jump out of a plane above the rolling hills of southern Ohio, or zip line through the Sacred Valley just hours before a flight from Cusco, or the time I wanted to go horseback riding in Peru, or hop on a sailboat with strangers headed toward the Mediterranean abyss, you stood with me or beside me, diligently making sure I landed from a 9,000-foot jump and safely dismounted from my zipline run, carefully trailing behind me as my horse grew from a trot to a canter, and you firmly held my hand as we jumped from the boat and into the Mediterranean Sea. You have undoubtedly made my life happier, fuller, and with your mindful decision making, I will no doubt probably live longer. We have amazing and differing personalities that cancel each other out like a perfectly balanced chemical equation. You are the yin to my yang, working together in tandem to create a beautiful life, better together than we are apart. And although our original wedding day did not go as we meticulously planned, and as we debated, flippantly trying to decide what was best for ourselves and our families and our friends, I look to you. When hard decisions need to be made, you're the one that stood tall and held us both up. You always say to me, most times the right choice is often the hardest one. And as I grieved a wedding day that was supposed to be shared with 250 of our closest friends and families, you enveloped me into a hug while I sobbed for the 15th time that week. And it was in that moment of complete despair and frustration and heartbreak, I was assured that you were everything I'd ever need to brave the years ahead. That in those times when I wasn't ready to make the right decision, the harder one, you were there to pull us both through. Okay. I cannot tell you how much I mean this. You are my best friend. And I know we say that jokingly. That sounds kind of weird, but it's true. You not only know everything about me, my past, but you know everything that I want to be. My dreams, my passions, my fears, you hear them all. In most of my stories, you've heard more than once. But you let me retell them, as I emphatically and unknowingly repeat myself for the third time. And no one else gets to know those layers of me. Eric, you are selfless. I'm almost done. Our honeymoon, for example, camping in the middle of the Serengeti, wasn't your dream, it was mine. And going on 10 to 12 hour safaris and enduring 32 hours of travel just to get there was not your idea of a relaxing honeymoon. But it was mine. You wanted to go to Hawaii. And although I'd like to think that my debate skills were superior in this particular situation, I wholeheartedly know that you saw my enthusiasm, and so we went. Lastly, Eric, you make me laugh. Like big, ugly, squinty-eyed, strobe-like laughs. Even when you make me laugh at myself, no less. Like the time I hypnotized Dan at the auto body shop with my car brake saga. Or the time I totally killed it in an air guitar solo with a cucumber during a meal prep. Or my awkward encounter with the cashier at Home Depot who just kept yelling, insurance card, insurance card, insurance card. You've reminded me that I'm human and that I'm full of flaws, and you've taught me to love that side of me too. There is no one else I feel more comfortable with than you. You are my best friend and greatest advocate even when I fall really big. I love that you let me run wild with my imagination and dreams, even if those dreams take us to Africa. And if I were to sum up our relationship, metaphorically speaking, I would say that I am the freight train, driving full speed ahead and racing towards whatever happens to be swirling around in my head at the time. And you are the terrain beneath the tracks, my foundation. You create the hills to climb to help me slow down, and the valleys to contribute to my momentum. You always keep me moving forward, and you never hold me back. Best of husbands and best of men. Your wife, Ashley.
And I think that's all we have left. So Eric, now you may kiss your wife. Ladies and gentlemen, it's now my pleasure to present to you again, Mr. and Mrs. Ashley and Eric Holmes.
As you can guess, Eric and I are a lot alike. We have a lot of the same interests and dry sense of humor, but then there are specific memories I have of just Eric that kind of set him apart. As a kid, he used to collect popsicle sticks and save them under his bed. When he was little, he would drive my mom crazy by whistling incessantly. For several years, his favorite musician was Weird Al Yankovic. He used to get up 10 minutes early for school, shower, brush his teeth, get dressed, then lay back down in bed and sleep for 10 more minutes. So far, these two have been to Spain, Chicago, New York, New Orleans, Oregon, Florida, Peru, skydiving, and now Zanzibar, which is a country in Africa. All this, though, I think was good for Eric. Since Ashley came along, you can just see how much happier he is and how great of a couple they are. I remember when they first started dating, someone took a picture of them at a wedding. And I don't think either of them knew the picture was being taken, but you can just tell by how they were looking at each other that they were in love back then. Eric, Ashley, I'm so happy for both of you and know you have so much to look forward to. Let's raise our glasses to Eric and Ashley. Woo!